So, have you ever heard of the Lewandowsky principle? That says that the more outlandish the theory is, the more likely it is to be true. And on this episode of the Eclectic Monk, I'm going to break it down for you. Shh! Don't tell anybody. They're watching. So look, I'm not crazy. I promise you I'm not crazy. Everything that I'm about to share in this podcast is absolutely true. You have to understand that just because something seems crazy doesn't mean it is crazy. Like this. See? Conspiracy, failed to process. See that? You know what that means? It means they're out to get us. Gotta start over. For some reason it's not letting me put my music on there. It won't let me put the music on there. What's going on? I'll do this a different way. I'm gonna save some battery. Be right back. So, everything went wrong when I was trying to record this the last time, when I was actually, recording this podcast, because they don't want you to know what I'm trying to tell you. Now, I got the audio in, so if you've listened to the Eclectic Monk, you know about the Lewandowsky principle. But I'm trying to do this as a video too, because I think I can reach some other people, and this is a really important one. I swear to you, everything I'm about to say is absolutely true. So, this is what's happening on planet Earth today. The government, the United States, has finally come out and told us that UFOs are real. That's right, UFOs are real. Now I know what they've been saying since the 40s, since 49, when the Roswell incident happened, oh, it was just a weather balloon. Oh, it's just, swamp gas. Oh, it's a satellite. It's something from the Russians, right? But no, finally, just last year they came out and said, there are things out there that we just can't explain. We think they are probably of an extraterrestrial nature. That's right, extraterrestrial. That's what they want you to think, extraterrestrial. So, the truth is, these are not extraterrestrial beings. These are interdimensional beings. See, interdimensional means that they have the ability to move between their reality, their time-space continuum, and our time-space continuum, which runs parallel. This is a physics thing, right? There's multiple realities, multiple dimensions, and these beings are able to slip over. So they are aliens, right? But they're not the bug-eyed aliens like Steven Spielberg wants you to believe in. These are aliens, look a lot like us. So, they've slowly introduced all this electromagnetic and intrusive technology, like wireless radio all the way to 5G, whatever 5G is, right? We're dealing with that right now. I'm not sure what it means, but I just know it's bad for you. Everything I've heard, it's dangerous. It's like radio waves. No wonder the cancer rate is out of the world, right? Got all these waves coming around. And they're time travelers, these interdimensional beings. They can travel through time, they can travel through time and space, and they've been behind most of the significant cultural events that have happened throughout time. The world wars, the Black Plague, and most recently, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. They're out there. The thing is that they have the ability to possess normal humans via electromagnetic disruption. That is, basically they can hack your brain. You have to understand, your brain, your body is an electrical entity. We are water and electricity. And your brain, they can hack into your brain and possess you, take control of you. So Alexander the Great, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Nixon, all of these were essentially non-humans. They were all humanoids, human bodies that have been possessed by these interdimensional beings. History starts to make a little more sense now, doesn't it? You realize that. Currently, they're controlling the media of the world. They're controlling our global financial institutions. Check out the Great Reset. Tell me if that Klaus guy doesn't look like he's a brain-hacked alien. I'm telling you, these things are in control. They're working to keep us at war, to subjugate us. The global population is being subjugated through mass hysteria and delusion. Look around. What do you think the last year and a half has been about? Division, delusion, falsehoods, lies, misdirection. Look over here so that you can't see what's happening over here. They use religion, politics, music, theater, social media, of course, the internet, anything they can to control us, to divide us, and to take control of our minds so we can't think straight. They don't want us to think straight. They want to tell you what to think. Pretty good job of it, I think. The thing is, they've been with us since the very beginning. All the way back in Genesis chapter 6, we hear about the Nephilim. All the way back in Genesis chapter 6, these beings have been around, right? It says, Genesis 6:4 says this, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards. Also afterwards, it says so, right in the Bible. When the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them, they were the heroes of old, men of renown. See, right there, you have these interdimensional beings that have come in and have begun breeding with the human women, creating this alternate race of humanity right at the beginning. And what happens right after Genesis chapter 6 is the flood. God sees what's happening and destroys everything. Pretty serious business. See, these are known as demons and evil spirits, fairies and leprechauns and genies and a dozen other names. Every culture has these interdimensional, invisible, but always there beings that they're contending with and dealing with. That is what we're dealing with here. And what's their end game? Well, it's to control and enslave all of humanity and take over the earth. That's what they've been trying to do since Genesis chapter 6, right at the very beginning. Been at war. We've been at war with interdimensional aliens that are trying to take over and destroy humanity. That's what's going on. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I know you're thinking, I'm listening to a guy sitting in a greenhouse with an aluminum foil hat on his head. He's got to be out of his mind, right? But am I? Really crazy? Maybe. Or maybe the Lewandowsky principle is correct. The more outlandish the theory, the more likely it is to be true. Hey, let me tell you what's going to happen next, and you'll really understand. You see, here's how it goes down. There's going to be a global economic collapse. The entire economic system of the world is going to go down. It starts with the United States because we are the financial and cultural engine of the world, and the United States is going to lose every bit of its credibility and its influence. You say, I don't really believe that it's possible, unless you watched the news last week. And you know, we're rapidly losing our influence and our credibility around the world. And you can't keep printing trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that are based on absolutely nothing but an idea without creating hyperinflation and all kind of problems. The central bank, the Federal Reserve, as it were, we're in it deep, folks. It's going to happen. Somewhere along the line, the aliens are going to appear. It's going to look like they come out of space. They're going to look like they come out of the sky. But remember, they're interdimensional beings. These are not beings that are coming from a billion light years away to, hear us sell soap powder on the television waves. No, they're much more clever than that. They're coming from this alternate dimension. They're going to show up, and they're going to take the last obstacle away from world peace. They're going to step in and say, we have the answer. And all the Christians are going to disappear. All the real Christians are going to disappear. All of the people who say they're Christians but really aren't going anywhere. That'll be an interesting day. The aliens are going to do that for you, though. And then, somewhere along that timeline, the plague happens. Serious plague. COVID-19 is not a serious plague. The plague is going to take out a third of the global population. A third of the global population will die. And then a third of survivors from the plague are going to die from the famine that occurs as a result of the plague. And then a third of those survivors are going to die in the global conflict that arises because of the famine that comes because of the plague. And in the midst of all of that tribulation, a very strong leader will appear in Europe, and he's going to come and he's going to impose peace. He's going to have a forced peace upon the planet, and everyone's going to cheer and think he's wonderful. But the peace doesn't last long. At some point he goes to Jerusalem, he steps into the temple that's rebuilt at some point. Maybe it's the tabernacle. Maybe it's just the mosque. At any rate, he's going to stand up and claim to be the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. But he's not. He's not. He's lying to you. When that happens, he's lying to you. And about that time, the leaders of the communist countries and the Islamic countries are going to join together. By the way, with the fall of Afghanistan, we can see the marriage between communist China, communist Russia, and the Islamic states of Iran and Afghanistan happening right now. I know I got the tinfoil hat on, but it all makes sense. The communist countries, the Islamic countries are going to converge to wage war against the Jewish remnant in Jerusalem. And it's going to look like history is doomed to end in this fiery conflagration. We call it the Battle of Armageddon. It's a real thing. It's going to happen. And something incredible is going to happen right at the very crux of all of that conflict. Jesus Christ is going to return. Now I know, right now, there's people who hear this and see this and they think, yes, this is a man with a tinfoil hat on sitting in a greenhouse who has lost his mind. But I assure you, Jesus Christ is going to return. He's going to step in and he's going to put an end to that conflict and take control. And all of these things happen in a 7-year period of time. And I believe the clock starts on that with the global economic collapse. And I'm not the only person on the planet who's saying there's an economic upheaval in our near future. When that happens, watch. Be ready. So what can you do? What can you do? If these interdimensional beings, which are very real, by the way, are going to do all of this, what can you do? Well, right now, what you need to do is exit the world system and enter into the kingdom of God. That's what the gospel is all about. That's what Jesus came and offered us, is a different way of living. The gospel is not say some magic words and go to heaven when you die. Heaven is not a place out there somewhere. Heaven is the seat of power. Heaven is where God is, where Jesus sits right now with absolute authority over all creation. It's an alternate reality. It's another dimension. And it's around us. It's within us. It's in our grasp. We can live in it. So, we're invited to enter by faith into this new reality. And that, my friends, is what's going on in the world today. I know, I'm kind of being silly with this, but I'm absolutely serious. All of these things are going to happen. Will they start tomorrow, next year, a decade from now, 100 years? I don't think we have 100 years. I think they're happening soon. And today is the day. Today is the day to believe that Jesus Christ is real, that He cares for you, and that if you trust Him, He'll give you eyes to see and strength to survive even the coming terror, trials, tribulations, upheavals, difficulties. Well, they really did mess with all of my electronics while I was trying to do this. It really happened. Anyway, till we meet again, travel well. Enjoy the journey as much as you can. And may God, who is faithful, be with you every step of your way. Till next time, remember, you are loved. God bless.